a teenage film snob, baby. I was a teenage film snob, baby.
Welcome to Us, a Teenage Film Snob. I'm James Chalmers, your friendly neighborhood film snob. We are back, baby. It is the first guest or just any other human on the podcast of 2026. We came back a little bit later than planned. I've been doing some solo shows where I've been talking about my weight loss journey and video games and all sorts of other nonsense just to kind of fill the void, because God forbid a week go by where I don't talk about something to someone. But finally, I'm going to converse with another human. So for the first episode of a film podcast back, we're going to talk about books. So let's welcome back a big, really popular guest on the show. One of my favorites for sure. This is his fifth appearance in less than 3 years, which is insane to me. He's got a new book coming out at the end of March. So by the time this drops, the book should be out already. We all love him. He's the sexy Viking storyteller, as I said on Instagram earlier today. It's Mr. R. Jacob Honeybrook. Roy, how are you, bud?
Hey, what's up, man? That was quite the intro. Thanks for having me back on.
You're very welcome, my friend. I normally prepare the intros, and I completely, as I started the recording, I was like, I didn't prepare an intro. I was like, oh my God, we have to make it up. But yeah, I also like that as soon as the recording started, the delay came back.
I love that.
For those listening, Roy and I have been having a little bit of tech issues this morning, so if it sounds like we're taking our time answering each other, we're not. Just the internet is being the worst. So, but how are you, my friend?
Oh, man, I am doing great. I actually just got off a Midnight Terrace podcast recording. Got the book coming out here shortly, March 30th, and already working on the next one. So, been keeping busy. How about you?
As we were talking about before, we had a kid. So that's kind of been the main focus of my life for the last few months. So he was born in November, and it's now almost April. So he's already 4.5, almost 5 months old, which is insane. It hasn't stopped me from watching movies though. I think I'm on like 150 for the year or something. So,
I'm glad he hasn't gotten in the way of your movie watching.
Yeah, I won't let any kids get in the way of my hobbies, bro. That was maybe said a little bit too sincerely. It was definitely a joke. But yeah, just been doing that, and been looking forward to getting back to the show. Of course, I haven't spoken to another human being about movies really for a while, so it'd be nice to chat to you today. And as I said before, we were talking about, I've been trying to just like get a little bit fitter, get back into shape. I'm pushing 40. I got 2 kids. I was not taking care of myself. So just trying to get a little bit, I don't need to be, as ripped as you or Sister Honey, but if I can get a little bit trimmed down, that'd be nice. So getting there.
Well, we're the same age, so let's lay off the whole pushing 40 thing.
I keep forgetting that. For some reason, I always think you're a little bit younger than me. I don't know why. Like, you don't give off young, or immature. I was gonna say not immature, but then I remember every show we've done. I'm like, no, we both give off.
I was gonna say. I thought you knew me better than that. Do you know that it's actually my birthday where you're at right now?
Oh, really? Happy birthday!
Yes.
So 37 or 38?
37.
37. So yeah, nice one. Very, very cool. Do you have any exciting plans other than releasing this sick book we're going to talk about?
No, I am doing 3 podcasts in 24 hours to celebrate, but I normally don't tell people it's my birthday, so I felt like, we have that special connection. This is something you should know.
I appreciate it. That's very cool. I don't do much for my birthday either. Like, if I'm working, last year, my son was born 2 weeks before my birthday, and my wife ended up being in the hospital the day of my birthday because we had to go back in for some stuff. So my birthday was spent mostly in the emergency room, not the emergency room, the maternity ward. And then once she stayed in the hospital overnight as well. She was there for like 3 days. So between her being in the hospital and my daughter going to bed, I think I just stayed up and watched I think I watched Justice League with a piece of cheesecake, and that was my birthday.
Not a bad night.
It wasn't too bad, Like, I was like, I want to watch my birthday. I want to try and watch a couple of movies. Like, normally, if it's a midweek one, if it's a weekend one, I'll hang out with my family. If it's a weekday, I'll take a day off work and I'll just go to the movies. And that's kind of what I'll do. I'll just go out for a couple of hours. We have something in Australia called Gold Class. I don't know if you guys have it in America.
No.
It's a premium theater experience. So you can go to like your standard cinema or like your massive like mega size screens or your 40Xs, but then Gold Class is basically, it's a much smaller theater. There's like 10, 12 seats in there, maybe a few more. It's a very small one, and they'll bring you like restaurant quality meals while you eat. So you can like order like a hamburger, or you can order like calamari or something like that, and they'll bring you food while you sit, and you can drink champagne and you can drink booze and stuff like that, and just
What?
yeah.
We have something like that in the U.S. There are certain theaters where you can sit down and order food, but it's not like 12 or 14 seats. You still have to worry about like getting into verbal arguments or fist fights when you go out to the movies. It's America.
Yeah, it's it might be slightly more than that, but it's very small. It's a very small theater. I don't do it that often, but if I think the last time I went to Gold Class was for Fantastic Four, actually, and I just so happened to like on my cinema membership card, I had like enough points for a free Gold Class ticket. I was like, oh my god, free Gold Class ticket! Like, that's insane. So all right, I'll go see Fantastic Four, and I didn't get any special stuff though. I just kind of sat down in like a big screen in a private room, basically. So it's like the equivalent of the champagne room in the strip club. It's like,
oh, okay, now you're speaking my language.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, I need to Roy this. If I just, if I speak in Roy's language, you'll get it.
Yeah, trash it up a little bit, then I'll follow you.
Yeah, that's what I did. I added some sleaze for you. Well, many happy returns, my friend, and hopefully it's a good one. Podcasting is not a bad way to spend a birthday. I wouldn't mind doing that.
Yeah, I love doing it, so it couldn't think of any way better.
And you guys have been doing some live shows recently as well, I saw.
Yeah, we so Kevin's based in South Carolina, which is like 8-9 hours away from me up in Ohio. So late last year he was like, I want to come up to where you're at and do some live shows with you. So we reached out to a couple breweries. They both said yes. We got horror author Z.C. Kroll down to join us. We brought Reviewed Death in from around Chicago, and we all met up in Ohio and put on a couple live shows. Went awesome. It was great to have everyone together all at once because we've all met each other but separately. So to get the whole group together is really cool. And then Kevin just recently went down to Savannah, Georgia, and he did a live show with Viggy Parhampton, a pretty big name as an indie horror author right now and a good friend of ours. He did a live show with her just this past weekend, and that went really well.
Oh, cool.
They both said it was awesome. Yeah, so he is going crazy with this. Ever since he did those live shows in Ohio, like people have been giving him recommendations, and he's like, man, I want to set stuff up in Indianapolis. I want to set stuff up here. And I'm like, dude, you're taking over the country right now.
Well, if he ever decides to do a live one in Australia, like, give me a heads up and I'll come out and do it. Like, I'll come and do a live one with him. I haven't spoken to Kevin in... When was the last time I was on your show? Like, that's the last time I spoke to you.
Oh, my gosh. Exorcist 3.
Yeah, I'm sure he regrets that one. I always give him a reason to regret doing a podcast.
That's why we love you. And he says hi, by the way. I told him I was coming on here. Told him I was cheating on him a little bit.
Nice one. Yeah, I don't speak to... Well, he doesn't have Instagram anymore, and I don't really use any other social media. So I don't get to chat to him very often, but I'm always keen to hear how he's going. I haven't listened to your show in ages, like a terrible friend, so I've got to listen
what the hell?
Catch up on some minutes. I know. And I normally listen to podcasts while I exercise and stuff like that. Like, not that I'm doing heaps, but I just get my 10,000 steps in. But I normally listen to podcasts, and yeah, I've got to catch up on some MTP for sure.
It's all good. I never listen to our own podcast either, unless I'm clipping something from it.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But you guys it's a really good show, and I love Kroll, man. I still haven't met the dude. I gotta like. We talked about this last year. Like, I think I left him hanging. Like, he said something, I was like, all right, and then I never came back to him. But every time he's on Midnight Terrors, it's so funny. We
figured it out. You guys both left each other hanging.
Yeah. Yeah, the last thing I heard him on, and this is going back a while, was when you guys did the Exorcist special on Midnight Terrors before you were officially a host on the show. That's the last time I've heard Kroll on a podcast, but yeah, that dude's so funny. And will not self-promote to save his life. At least that's what it was like last time.
I love his promos. They're amazing. But he is one of the most hilarious people and inadvertently hilarious people I've ever met. Like, he'll just do something and I'll think it's the funniest thing in the world. Like,
I got to get in touch with him again. I probably shouldn't trash him on a show saying we've never spoken properly, but
I never met this guy.
yeah, what a jerk. No, like obviously it's all in good fun. I'm a big fan of the dude, so yeah.
He has a really
Very
good
cool.
podcast too. I think it's been on hiatus though. The Creepy Crawly.
Oh, that's right. He does too. I'm pretty sure I follow it on Instagram. Whether I've got it on my podcast app, I'm not sure. I'll have to go check it out. Speaking of creepy stuff and writing, you've got a book coming out, which is very exciting. I think the last time we spoke, or maybe it was the first time we spoke, I asked you about physical copies because when we once I adored that. It was so beautifully written and like equally kind of creepy and just like a really wonderful romance story. I was like, man, when can I get this on my shelf? And you're like, never. And then you're like, actually, I'm going to do like a compilation at some point. And it's here. Less than 2 years later, the compilation is about to go live on Amazon. Is that right?
Yep. They'll be available on Amazon.
Very, very cool. And it collects together. I've got the advanced reading copy. It's what, 6 stories?
Yeah, 6.
Nice one. I'm so glad I threw that in. I sound like I've practiced and prepared for this. How's that process been for you? Like, obviously, I'm assuming there wasn't too much in terms of writing and editing because you already had them in the bank. But what was the process like, kind of getting the book together and kind of putting it into a physical format for the first time?
You would think there wouldn't be a lot of editing that would go into it because I didn't either. I started to put this all together at the day after Thanksgiving. I was like, I'll enjoy Thanksgiving, whatever. And then after that, it's time to get to work on this collection that I want to put out. So I was like, okay, this will be super easy. I'll get the manuscripts. They've already been professionally edited. They've already been published. Just take all of them, put them into one giant manuscript, format it, and it'll be good to go. Well, then I started reading through my stories that I had written 5 years ago and 4 years ago, and I'm like, ooh, like, this could be a little tighter. I should add a comma there. I should take that comma out. And dude, editing is such a vicious cycle because I'll read through it and I'll find just like little things I want to change. And I'm like, okay, I changed those. Now let me read through it another time without wanting to fix anything. And then I just keep doing that and doing that, keep finding stuff. So at some point I just have to say, this one's good, on to the next. And that whole, I didn't touch anything with the stories. It was more just mechanics of writing that I tweaked a little bit. But that whole process took me from about Thanksgiving, which is late November, till about early February.
Wow.
Yeah, so once I got all the manuscripts how I wanted them to look, I then took them and did all the little tweaks you have to do to get it into the format, like indentation, spacing, things like that. Put it into Kindle Create, and by that point it's pretty much done, and uploaded it. And really the cool thing about paperback, maybe not the cool thing, but one of the things about paperback is your cover art has to be really specific. So my cover designer, Mar, who runs TBM Horror that I write for, she does most of my covers these days, and she was really cool about getting the correct sizes and the formatting for it. So that was a little bit of a challenge, but she was always really good about getting me the new dimensions and sending them back quick. So it was a process, man, but it was worth it. I have a couple physical copies in my hands, and it looks great. So I'm excited to get it out to everyone.
Yeah, it looks cool, man. That artwork is very cool as well. We're talking about it before we started recording. Like, it's so rare. We were joking. It's so rare to like see the author on the cover of the book, but for this one, it really works. Like, you and Hunter S. Thompson, I think, are the only two who can pull it off. Like, that's it.
We're the only one the ego's big enough, I guess.
It's because most writers don't look like Viking gods or like insane like drug peddling maniacs. Like, you've got that's Hunter S. Thompson, not you.
I mean, it could be me.
You know. So I think most writers are kind of like, oh, no, not me. But you're like, no, front and center. In fact, I need to be the biggest image on the page.
Well, it's
but
funny.
Looks very cool.
Well, thank you. And it's funny you say that because Viggy and I was on her podcast not long ago to promote this book, and we were talking a lot about marketing and being an
Mhm.
author. And it's like, well, a lot of authors are authors because they just want to write the book and put it out and not be in the spotlight. And
Mhm.
I totally get that to a point, because I'm like, nah, give me the spotlight. I am
Mm.
I am a sucker for attention.
Yeah.
When it comes to writing, I'm weird though. Like when it comes to writing and my books and everything, I want all the attention. When it comes to just like everyday life, I'm like, act like I'm not here, please.
I'm the same. Like I was talking about this, I think, before recording as well. Like and like self promotion. Or maybe it was on the
Hmm.
show. I can't remember now. We talk about self promotion, and I'm like, people think that that's what I'm like. I'm just like, whoa, like, hey, everyone. It's like, no, that's me in a video. Like, but most of the time, like,
Hmm.
I'm actually very quiet. Like leave me alone. Like in my job, I'm so lucky. Like when I'm kind of if I'm doing my role, kind of, there's a few elements to my role. If I'm doing the main part, if I'm around people all the time, but I only do that like maybe 2-3 weeks a month, something like that, and then the rest of the time I'm
Oh,
doing planning and
nice.
admin stuff. And during that time, I'm like, no one knows I'm here. It's just me and my
Yeah.
desk. I can listen to podcasts on my music while I do notes and stuff like that, and it's very like out of the spotlight. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, unless I'm around people I've known for like ever, like my wife, obviously. If I'm quiet, she's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Nothing. I just, just today there's nothing to say." But most of the time around people, I'm very just like, yeah, I put my
Hmm.
headphones on and I don't want to speak to anyone. So,
Yeah. I feel
but
you.
if it's this, or like, if it's something I'm creating and stuff like that, then definitely like I'm interested in talking about.
Yeah,
So I hear you, man.
absolutely.
So what are the stories we've got? When Once We Loved, which, as I said, is one of my favorite things I've ever read. I really love that one. There's uh, Roadkill Blues, which I read. Is that what it's called? Roadkill Blues? Yes, I'm not losing my
Yes,
mind.
sir.
We got New Year's Killin' Eve, which I'm very excited to read. Which you're working on a sequel for right now, is that right?
That is what I am working on. I wrote that in 2025, and then I'm just now getting back to editing it, and now I want to rewrite about 75% of
Oh wow. And this one, I remember that when we spoke about it last time. So I'm not spoiling anything. People were like, "Don't spoil it." Like we talked about it on the show a few times. The
it.
sequel is a full novel, isn't it? Or like it's a much longer story than the first one.
Yeah, it's going to be a full-length novel. I started out writing this thing really at the end of 2024, thinking, "Oh, this will be another short story. I can get it out by New Year's
Mm.
before 2025." And then I started writing it, and I kept writing it, and the story kept going.
Mm.
So a couple months later, I had a full-length novel, and then I was just like, man, I got to work on other stuff before I put this out. So uh, did a short story, worked on the collection, and now I can finally get back to the new stuff with New Year's Killing Eve too. So it's been cool. Yeah, it was cool. I went back and I just read through it, took some notes about what was good, what happened, what I want to change, and I think overall it's an awesome story. I just want to make some tweaks with how I wrote it, and I think I can make it a lot better and more readable if I just rewrite some parts to it.
I find I I don't write very often, and I find if I leave too much time, then I end up just throwing it in a drawer. I'm like, that's it. It's not good enough, because perfectionism apparently is the enemy of creation. So, like, I didn't realize that. My wife said the other day, I'm like, wow, that's really true, and that's probably why I've never put anything out there. Um, but
It's
I
tough,
find,
man.
yeah, I remember I wrote something. The last time I kind of sat down and wrote anything was before my daughter was born, during the
Wow.
pandemic, and I wrote a full novel with the intention of like trying to get it published. And I
Yeah.
finished it and I was like, this is great. I'm going to leave it for a little bit. I'll come back and have a look at it. And I read the first page. I'm like, oh, it's so edgy. I sound like a teenager trying to be cool. And I was like, that's it, in the drawer. But I will go back
Forever.
to it. I do love that story because I've been working on that story on and off since 2007. It was originally going
Wow.
to be it was originally a film script I wrote. So
Hmm.
I really 2007? No, 2010. Sorry, 2010. Um,
Okay.
so I will do something with it at some point, hopefully. Because I love that story. I just need to just rip off the band-aid and be like, you know what? It's never going to be perfect. Just chuck it out there and see if people like it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's what a lot of authors have a tough time with. That's what I was
mm,
talking about with that vicious cycle of editing.
mm,
Like, I can make this better. Is that wrong? Like, at some point, Another author told me this, Holly Knightley. She's a great horror author. You should go check out
I
her
see
stuff
you
if you
kind of
haven't.
post about her quite a bit, so yeah.
Dude, she's amazing, and she's been a huge help navigating this physical copy stuff. Like, she's been
Oh,
great.
great.
And I was talking to her about that, and she was like, I just know that when I get done with a book and I put it out, it's the best that I could do at that time. And that really stuck with me. And I think that a lot of people probably need to hear that. Like, hey, it's the best you could do. If it's not that great, then hey, make your next one even better.
That reminds me of, I know you're not the biggest fan of him, but there's a Stephen King thing I read in his like biography, and he was like, my rule, because he was saying that he went through the same thing, is like, my rule is 2 drafts. Right, 1 draft to get your story down, 2nd draft to tie it up, and that's it. He goes, otherwise you're doomed to get stuck in the cycle of just trying to perfect something that's never going to be perfect. So so I like that rule. I think that's a pretty good one. I can't remember if
My
we talked
rule?
about. Oh, sorry, go on. Yeah, tell me your rule.
My rule is that whenever I start to get sick of looking at it, that's how I know I'm done. Like, if I open it up and I'm like, I have to read this thing one more time, then I'm just like, okay, I think we're done. We've edited it numerous times, just put it out there.
Nice. That's a pretty good rule as well. I can't remember if we've talked about this, but your process for writing. I'm not going to be like, where do you get your ideas from? Because I think that's the most boring question anyone can ask. Like, it's like, I don't know, like, where does a fish get its fins from, man? Like, it just happens. But the writing process itself, how does that work for you? Are you a big planner? Are you kind of a stream of conscious writer? Like, do you just kind of, how do you kind of get started, and what does that journey look like? Because I don't think we ever talked about this, and if we have, I apologize.
I don't think so, but in writing, I think these terms are cringe, but whatever. They call them planners and pantsers, or plotters and pantsers. So you have people who will write out like a thorough story outline, knowing what they want to happen, when they want it to happen. And then you have pantsers who are just like, let me just write the thing and we'll see where the story goes. So I'm more of a guy, much like everything else in my life. I'm just like, well, let's start it and see where it goes.
That's me. That's yeah,
right?
I'm the same. Yeah.
And for me, that's worked really well for my stories. Prime example, New Year's Killing Eve 2. I went into it thinking it was going to be something quick and short, and then once I started writing the story, it's this whole different thing with tons of stuff going on. So I don't think I could have planned that out if I tried.
I find planning to be, and this I'm not knocking. If it works for people, it works for people. Like, I remember reading, apparently J.K. Rowling, when she was writing Harry Potter, like, she had like just maps of like planning, like, for the 7 books and stuff like that. Regardless of what you think of her as a person and her views and stuff like that, like, there's no denying the books are, magical, pardon the pun. But for me, I find planning so incredibly boring. And I feel like, because I used to plan when I was younger, and I feel like if I plan my writing, it's only ever going to be as good as the plan, because I'm constantly writing to hit a target. Whereas, so in Roadkill Blues, which I read yesterday, there's a moment very early on where someone gets their, spoilers for an older book, someone gets their head blown off pretty quickly in the story.
Sounds like my book.
And it caught me completely by surprise. And I was like, this reads to me as something that wasn't planned. I feel like this, and because if it was planned, I would have seen it coming. So the way I approach my writing is that I don't like to plan, because if I don't know where it's going, then I can surprise myself. And if I surprise myself, then I'm likely to surprise the audience. So I like to do that sort of thing.
Now, that being said, for example, I have a book I want to write after I get done with New Year's 2. And when I had this idea, I was so stoked about it, I immediately wrote like a 3-act outline. Nothing crazy, just like Act 1, a paragraph of what I thought would happen, Act 2, a paragraph, Act 3, a paragraph. So nothing crazy. What I found too is I go in so blind that I kind of forget what I've written.
Yeah.
So I get to like the halfway point of the story, and then I'm like, oh shit, where am I at? So then I end up having to go back and write like little chapter synopsises for what happens. So in a way, I kind of end up planning stuff oddly, because sometimes I get stuck too, and I'm like, where do I want this to go? Let me map out some stuff. But by and large, I
Yeah,
just like to.
I think that's okay. Like, I don't have again. Like, I'm not knocking it. People do it. Like, it's fine. But I find like I used to be very like it was like almost like a shot list. It's like, all right, this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. This is gonna
Mm,
happen. But like, yeah, like there'll be certain things of dialogue. For example, like, oh, that's a funny line. I want to put that in somewhere. So like, I'll write that down. Or like, I'm actually working on something right now for the first time in years. And when I started writing last week, I had no idea what it was going to be. I was like, I've got a name for a character. I know what I want it to be vaguely about. Let's just see what happens.
yeah.
And now as like more and more happens, I'm like, so like, I know what I want. I know what the book's about now. But it took
Hmm.
me 11,000 words to get to that. Like, I didn't know what the book was. So the first 11,000 words is just kind of like setting the scene, bringing the players in and stuff like that. And I was like, I know what's going to happen. I know the big thing that the book is really about, or the story's about. But
Hmm.
once they get to that moment, I don't know what that means for the rest of the story. Like, it's a cool idea. And literally, as I've been writing, like, now I know what it's going to be. So it wasn't planned. It's just like, well, let's just figure out who his characters are and figure out this place. And maybe this place that they're living in looks really picturesque and normal on the surface. But as we start to meet the characters, like, there's definitely something odd going on. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, so is it just a weird town? Like, is it something kind of sinister and like supernatural, or is it more kind of regiment? So like, that's been the process for me writing. But it's like all I wanted to do was have that character with that name get to this point, and beyond that, I'm like,
Gotcha.
anything else is just bonus. So I'm sure people who write for a living are like, oh my god, that sounds like a nightmare, because how do you know what the book's about? But we got there. It took a while, but we know what it's about now.
Yeah. Well, it sounds
Yeah.
like you're figuring stuff out through the writing of it.
If I can be very pretentious for a second, I like to
Please
think that
do.
the story will tell itself. That's the
Oh.
way I've always been about writing, where I'm like, look, like, I'm not going to go so far and wanky to be like, oh, I'm merely a vessel. Like, not at all. But like, the story's in there. I can force it out, or I can just let it happen, and like either way, like, it'll get there. That's kind of the way I think it works. So,
Yeah.
um,
And that's impressive too. Like I find like people who write these crazy long novels, like that they are so awesome. It blows my mind because I'll write 15,000, 20,000 words and I'll be like, cool, that's the story.
yeah.
Like I have trouble
Ah,
padding stuff out. I wish I could do that more.
I'm impressed by people who can write short stories. I cannot write. I think I've written one good short story.
Hmm.
In my entire life, and it was the first year of university. I went into a writing class, and ironically, the characters in that story show up in the thing I'm writing right now, because I'm not original at all. In the same role that they had 20 years ago. Like, literally, they're doing the exact same thing they were in that short story, and it's not a sequel. It's just I like those characters, so I'm bringing them back.
Yeah.
And that's the only short story I've ever written that I've been proud of. I'm like, you know what, this is funny. Like, it's 5 pages long. It gets to the point. It's a good old time to read, but I just
Yeah.
struggle to write anything short. So
Well,
that's
I
why I was
will
impressed with your stuff, because I'm like, wow, like, so like, yeah, like Roadkill Blues, I would say is less poetic than when we once loved. But
yeah.
boy, does it paint a picture. Like, yeah, like it's so fun, and like, for something that's like, what, like 8 pages long or something, 10 pages long, it just like, it
It's not
flies.
long
Like,
at
it's
all, yeah.
action packed, and like, yeah. I wish I could do that. Like, for me, I'd be like, well, that's the opening scene. Now I need to write another 20
Mhm.
chapters. Like, that would be like how I go.
See, and I wish I could think like that, but I don't know. I always felt maybe it comes from working in journalism too, where we had just
Mm.
huge court dockets and all kinds of crazy stuff, and it's like, hey, here's a 50-page court case, make it a 3-paragraph article. Like, oof. So I
See,
think
that's
writing
the
short
difference.
form.
You've been working in short form your entire life, and all I've been doing is sitting around watching movies. So I'm like, long form, long form. So it's like,
Well, you know
someone
what
asked
else
me the other
makes
day,
sense too? What
go
else
on.
makes sense too is when I think about like a lot of different inspirations and stuff like that, I tend to think of like TV shows, and I tend to
Yeah.
think of like the stories in Books for the Broken, like Twilight Zone episodes. I would always say, like, oh,
Yeah.
I want to write a story or a novella and have it be like a Twilight Zone episode. So I think
Mm.
I kind of think in those terms as well, which is easier to translate into, 50-page story or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. Um, Roadkill Blues definitely feels like that. And I was saying to you yesterday, like I read it literally at my desk. I had a break while I was working. I took a break,
Mhm.
and I read it like very quickly. Like I didn't expect to read it as quickly as I did. And I said to him, like, man, it feels like Reservoir Dogs. Like that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
Like an early Tarantino crime story, which yeah, I was really digging. And like to the point where like even the characters, I'm like, I'm not saying it's definitely Earl McGraw and Son Number One, but that's what it feels like to me. And you were like, "Yep,
Yeah. Yeah, it's just oh man, I was just trying to think, like, really No Country for Old Men came to my mind when I was
yeah,
writing
it feels like that as well."
like a
Um,
neo-Western noir type deal, and just this hard old sheriff and his bumbling kid. Like, I like
mm,
that dynamic. And I think I told you in the text, it was like sometime between Christmas and New Year's during the pandemic. I had
mm.
just binged watched a bunch of Tarantino films. Kill Bill, definitely those were in there, and binge drank at the same time. And over the course of that weekend, Roadkill Blues somehow popped out.
Do you write while you drink? Like, are you someone who will sit down and like imbibe and then write, or do you find it clouds? Like, do you find it introduces an interesting perspective, or do you find it clouds the process?
With Roadkill Blues, that was the only one I have been actively drunk while I wrote any of it.
Wow,
Um, but I'll tell
nice.
you, you would think I'm fucking wasted doing all these, but no, I'm usually stone cold sober when I work on writing. But also New Year's Killing Eve, When We Once Loved, and Thaddeus Green, I wrote all of those at work, so that would be kind of difficult to be hammered and writing those. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I hear you. That's what I've been doing. Like when I've had downtime or breaks and stuff, I've been writing. Just I got an old iPad and I hooked up like a Bluetooth keyboard to the iPad, so I can just take it with me everywhere. I don't have to
Oh
lug the
yeah.
computer around. So I've been doing that. Or like after everyone goes to sleep because I've got a baby, so I have to stay up late. So I'm like, oh, I'll just write on the couch and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I tried it once. Once when I was like 21, I was like back when I used to drink. I don't really drink anymore, and I was like,
Mhm.
my dad was
Same.
out of the country. He like, went on a holiday with his girlfriend, and so it was just like me, my brother, and sister at home, and like they would have parties, and I wasn't really into that. So, but they would like take the alcohol from the party. So I'd like bring like a bottle of scotch up to my room, like, all right, let's write. And I
You'd
found it
rather
to be
just drink
not helpful.
alone.
Not helpful at all. Yeah, why would I party? Well, I was dating the woman that became my wife, so it wasn't like I was down to party with people and stuff like that. So I was just like,
Yeah.
I'll just drink alone in my room and write. And it was the scotch was cheap and the writing was terrible. So
It adds to the
there we
lore.
go. Let's yeah, sure. All right. So books for the broken out at the end of March. Very exciting. I can't wait. As I said to you before, I can't wait to have it on my shelf. I've said that every time I spoke to Jim. Like, I can't wait to have one of your books on my shelf, man. I want to get one of your books on my shelf. So it's about to become a reality. So I'll have to see if it's on the Australian Amazon store. I haven't checked in a little bit.
It should be. I
I'll,
checked the box for like all the different country. Well, if they automatically just show up for
nice.
all the different countries, so it should be.
Mm.
And oh yes, you weren't the only one. The whole reason why I did this, you brought up a good point, saying you want one of my books on your shelf. And the whole reason I did this was because, I figured, like, look at music. Everything is streaming. Everything's digital. So when I got into writing, I'm like, oh, I'll just release, like, digital novellas and stuff, and people will be cool with that. Come
Yeah.
to find out, readers love physical copies of books. Who would have guessed? So the whole reason I put this together is because, a bunch of people were always like, when can we get physical copies of this one or that one? So part of the reason I wanted to do this was to give people something that they wanted, right? Like they're asking for it, like, cool, I'll put it together, get physical copies, and there you go. So one of the reasons, but that was pretty cool to actually have people asking about stuff like that. So
Yeah, man. I didn't know about the whole kind of bookstagram sphere until
me neither.
Honey. Maybe till I met Honey, like because like
Okay.
you and I would talk about like talk about books and stuff like that. But I you know, like I've got bookshelves full of books, but I was born in the 80s. Like all my media is physical. Like I just buy, you know, everything. Like I don't really like digital. Like I'll use it if I have to, but like I prefer physical. Um, and I should have known. Like if there's a world of people out there talking about Blu-rays and DVDs online, then certainly there's got to be a sphere of people talking about books. But I just never thought about it. And yeah, it's insane. It's crazy. Like how many people are there. It's good, you know. It's good that like, sure, the environment's like, hey, less of our resources, please. But you know, like, it's good to have. It's good to have those copies on your shelf and stuff. Like that. I like something tangible. So, um,
Yeah, and I
I
was the
just saw
same
the
way with
Kindle.
the whole. Oh,
I
I'm
just saw
sorry.
your book
I
on
just
on Amazon. It's the Kindle version, but I don't know if the
yep.
physical version's there yet. So I'll have to keep looking.
Yeah, so what that is if you just do it all through Amazon for whatever reason, Amazon only puts the Kindle version up for pre-order, and then the day it
Yep.
releases, the paperbacks will be available as well. At least that's what I'm hoping.
Ah, cool.
I've read it, and now
Nice
I'm
one.
hoping.
Excellent.
Because I've
Well,
already
actually,
said
that's
that the
so funny. Your
paperbacks
book,
will be out the 30th.
yeah, your book releases, I think, around the same time I get my next paycheck. So that's what I'll be ordering next week. Yeah,
You
I'll
know, I
spend
actually knew
some
that, and that's
sweet,
why I
sweet
planned that
dollars.
day to drop it.
Yeah, you're like, he's going to get paid. He's finally going to have no red in his account anymore. He'll be on top of his payments again. Let's take his money. So yeah.
Yes. Just
After
hand that
I
paycheck
told
right
you
to
I
me.
spend money. I told you I spend my money on stupid stuff. So maybe I'll spend on something clever next time.
Yes.
Instead.
Or this could be part of
You
the
were saying
stupid
something
stuff.
before I interrupted you. Sorry.
Oh, what was I saying? What were we talking about? Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
wait, I covered that. I don't know. I'm gonna punch out and I'll throw it back to you because I can't think of what I was gonna say. Must have been some nonsense.
That's what we get with an internet lag and me not shutting my fat mouth. Let's jump to movies because I spoke to you. I said, look, you know, when we do the show, like we'll talk about your book. If there's anything else you want to talk about, and go and get his book, guys. Like if you've read anything that Roy, like his books have been free or nearly free online for the last few years. Throw a couple of bucks his way and get a physical copy. Utterly rereadable. Everything I've read of yours, I find like I'm not like, well, I never need to read that again. I find myself being like, oh, I'll want to read that again in the future. But even still, just support
Awesome.
an independent artist. You know, someone who's creating some cool stuff. Not going through one of the big publishers, because I'm sure, like based on what I've read, if you wanted to go through a big publisher, you could. But you've been pretty adamant about keeping it independent. So,
Yeah. For
I mean,
now, there
could've
might
got
come a
some
time when
sweet
I
movie
try to
deals
get
and
an
some fat
agent
checks,
again.
but
Hey, that's the dream, right?
yeah. Yeah, go support him. Go get that book. And now Roy and I are going to talk about movies because I said to you, I'm like, aside from the book we're going to talk about, and you were like, there are 3 movies that I want to talk about all the time. I think one was The Patriot, which we've spoken about on the show before. You actually, in your very first appearance, you were like, you need to watch The Patriot. And I bought it while I was in the UK and I watched it and I loved it. And you recommended, what else did you recommend? You want to talk about The Departed? And you want to talk about one other movie. I can't remember now.
Probably The Gladiator.
Yeah, it was Gladiator. Which I haven't talked about on the show that much, but I was like, look, I haven't watched The Departed in a minute, so let's watch The Departed and talk about The Departed.
Hell yeah.
So I rewatched it. It was I think it'd been a couple of years since I watched The Departed. I normally try to watch it once every few years. I think it's probably my favorite of Scorsese's films. But why?
Wow.
Why The Departed? Why did you want to talk about it?
Oh man, it's just always been one of my favorite movies since I first saw it around the time it came out, like 2006, I think it was. And when I first moved to Philly, I had 3 DVDs with me because we didn't have TV yet. We just had I just had a PS2 and like a fat box TV.
Yeah.
So I had The Departed, I had Reservoir Dogs, and I had a copy of Triple H's Greatest Matches up until that point.
Of course.
So, right, I had to throw the WWE in there.
Yeah.
So it'd be like Monday Reservoir Dogs, Tuesday The Departed, Wednesday Triple H, and then I would just start it all over again. So I've probably seen The Departed no less than 100 times, and something I watch at least once a year around St. Patrick's Day. And this year I watched it on St. Patrick's Day, but I also told my brother I would watch it with him, and he was off
Nice.
work the following night, so I watched it 2 nights in a row, and I had absolutely no issue with that. But yeah, Departed, always one of my favorite flicks. I think it would be my favorite Scorsese film as well. There's just so much to it.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of arguments for Goodfellas, and I love Goodfellas. Goodfellas is
Oh,
fantastic. Um, I think, I mean, look, they could be both his best film, right? Like they could both be his
yeah.
best films. They're both really good. But The Departed, I think, I remember when that won the Oscar for Best Picture, and I was like, wow, I agree with this. Like it's very rare that I see like a Best Picture winner. I'm like, yep, that was the best film of the year. Often it's quite divisive, but I think The Departed, hands down, was the best film this year. But it's just so
Mm-hmm.
layered and intricate and like brutal and violent, but fun. It might be my favorite Mark
Mhm.
Wahlberg performance of any of any of his films. Um,
Oh, he's so good.
I remember
Such
being,
a dickhead in it.
I remember he gets the best lines in that film as
I
well.
know.
I remember the first time I watched it, I was incredibly confused because it has Mark Wahlberg and Matt Damon in it. And even though they don't look identical, they look similar enough where if you're not paying attention, you can get confused. And I was
Yeah.
like an elderly parent being like, who's this? And I found myself getting very confused for a little bit. But what a cast as well. Jack Nicholson,
I
is that his
know.
last... Is that Jack's last performance? No, he must have done something since Departed.
Didn't he do
Not
the bucket list after this? Was that 2008?
Yeah, he did. I haven't seen the bucket list, but Jack's like,
It's all
I know
one.
people talk about his accent not being great in it, but it's Jack Nicholson. Who cares? Like he's just
I
so
know.
magnetic. I honestly, and this might sound weird to say, I think this might be one of his more likable performances.
Oh man, but yeah, just the cast alone, like you said, all-star cast:
Yeah,
Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt
yeah,
Damon, Mark Wahlberg, Jack Nicholson, Alec Baldwin. Like everyone is in this one.
yeah. Vera Farmiga, who's in the Conjuring films,
Yeah,
as the
I didn't
therapist.
realize that until earlier this or late last year. I was like, wait, Lorraine Warren is the therapist from The
Yeah.
Departed?
And she, like, if I may say, in 2026, and I know this might not be the most like woke thing to say, so incredibly sexy in this film. Like, just
Oh yeah.
like in this film, like this is a male dominant film filled with strong like male egos, and she is in control of every scene she's in. Like, she holds her own against every single person. Alec Baldwin, yeah, wonderful. Alec Baldwin doing a very similar role to what he was like in Glengarry Glen Ross. Like, this feels like a very similar role there, just
Okay.
yelling at people and swearing at them. Have you seen Glengarry Glen Ross?
I haven't, no, but I know
You
from
gotta
this.
watch it. You'll love
I
it. Yeah,
know.
it's
Is it about a very disheveled, sweaty, stressed out guy?
yeah, it is. It's yeah, it's good. It's a good. You'll dig it for sure. Like, as a
Mhm.
writer, like as someone who writes characters and dialogue, you'll just be like, oh my god, this is like not fun, but
Yeah.
also like fun in a very nihilistic way, I suppose.
Okay.
Who else? Martin Sheen is in it as well.
Oh yeah, totally forgot to mention him.
Poor old Martin
Captain
Sheen's
Queenan.
character. Jeez,
Oh,
like just
tossed off a building and it explodes on the pavement.
oh man. And like, a lot of people don't know this still. Like, even 20 years later, because this film is 20 years old this year.
That's wild.
It's a remake. It's not an
Yes.
original script. It's based on I want to say it's a Chinese film called Infernal Affairs. And there were 3 of those. Which
I remember you telling me that, and I was surprised there were that many.
yeah, not as good as The Departed. I've got
Right.
them. I've watched. To be fair, I've only watched them each once, so I might need to give them a bit more, but a bit more time. But I feel like it's one of those rare instances where a remake kind of succeeds its predecessor.
Let me ask you this.
Mm,
Do you think The Departed is underrated? Because I'll tell people about it, 20 years later, and everybody knows Goodfellas. Everybody knows Godfather. and then you throw The Departed out there, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one." It's like, how could you not see this one? Like, look at the cast; it won awards, and I don't know. It just
Yeah.
seems like a lot of people overlooked this one.
I don't know. I think in 2006 that cast in a Scorsese film was maybe less appealing because he was kind of known for like the previous 15 years or so, 20 years, 30 years even, doing mainly kind of Italian style mob films.
Oh
Like
yeah,
not exclusively, like obviously he did like Last Temptation of Christ and stuff like that, but like Goodfellas, Mean Streets, the Casino, people kind of used to the Scorsese, De Niro, Pesci lineup, and I think
yeah.
they saw this and they were like, the kid from Titanic, like, because like Leo was huge in '97 with Titanic, and then he disappeared for a bit, and then he did a lot of films that I feel like a lot of people, including myself, haven't seen. Like he did The Beach, which I still haven't seen. He got very choosy. He did Catch Me If You Can, which is wonderful, but again,
Oh
I think
yeah.
overlooked. And so I
Did he do
think
The
there
Man
might
in
have
the Iron Mask as well around that time,
he
early
did do The
2000s?
Man in the Iron Mask, and he also did oh my god, what am I forgetting? It's brilliant. What am I? Gangs of New York,
Oh my
which is another
god,
Scorsese
another
film.
amazing film. Yeah, that's right. It
Another
is
under
Scorsese.
that comes off. I think he's Scorsese's coming off that, and Gangs of New York was kind of met with mixed reactions because it was so far removed from like the Goodfellas of it all. I think
Yeah.
Scorsese fans, like kind of cinephiles and stuff, are like, I don't care, it's Scorsese, and like kind of film people really into it. But if you're kind of like into Scorsese because of his mob style films, I don't think Gangs of New York appeals to you. Pardon me. And I think Departed, people didn't realize that there could be an Irish mob. Like,
Right.
if it's not Italian, it doesn't count. Because yeah, I agree. Like when I talk to people who know the film are like, "Oh my god, it's perfect, it's brilliant." But yeah, a lot of people haven't seen it, and I don't know why. That's might just me theorizing. I think he wasn't doing the Italian mob thing anymore, so people kind of like, well, that's what he does. So,
No, I think
um,
you're definitely onto something there. Because think
mm,
about it, when you think of Scorsese, I mean, it's like an Italian name. You immediately think like Joe Pesci in a pink suit in a casino. Like, so I can
mm.
see why whenever Gangs New York or The Departed came out, they'd be like, well, wait a second, this isn't, the Goodfellas again or whatever. Like, well, what's this? So,
And it's funny because I think at this stage he's done more films with DiCaprio than De Niro.
Wolf of Wall Street,
So Departed,
Gangs
Gangs
of
of New
New
York,
York.
Wolf of Wall Street, Shutter Island.
Oh, that was a Scorsese film?
Yeah, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh, yeah, that just came out.
Um, what else has he done? I don't think he was in Silence. Maybe not. Maybe it's close. Maybe he still De Niro's in a few more. Because he wasn't in The Irishman, which De Niro was. So maybe he's with De Niro. But
Mm-hmm.
he's done a lot with DiCaprio.
Mm-hmm.
But people, and he hasn't done an Italian style mob film since. Is Casino the last one? Am I forgetting? Oh, well, no, Irishman. Never mind. Irishman,
Oh,
which
is
is
the
the last
Italian
5
mob
years.
in The Irishman?
Oh, maybe it's isn't it? I can't remember.
I don't.
I
I've
watched
never
it once.
seen. I've never
I
seen The
watched it.
Irishman.
I watched it during the pandemic, and I found it to be the first Scorsese film. I was like, I'm a bit tired. Like,
That's what
it's
I've
like
heard,
it's
and it's
three
like
and a half
3
hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really like even for him. Like, but like but like Goodfellas is 3 hours long, and that flies by.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh
I
yeah, I watched Goodfellas end of last year, and it was amazing. It was entertaining. It was funny. It was violent. It was dramatic. Like those
Yeah, he's not doing funny
flew
stuff
by.
so much anymore. Scorsese Kills the Flower Moon's really tough as well. I think that was also 3.5 hours long.
Okay.
And I did something I never do in theaters, and this is not like a critique of the film, but I walked out to get some air.
Really?
It's so bleak because it's based on real atrocities, and he doesn't like jazz it up. Like it's very like dark and like cruel at times. And I was just like, I'm just gonna like, I was like getting like really kind of hot and flustered in the cinema. I'm like, I'm just gonna get some fresh air and I'll come back. It is a long flick. Yeah, it's like 3.5 hours long. It's and from what I understand, not available anywhere physically. I think it might be on Apple TV or something. So I've only watched it the one time. Even 2-3 years later, whenever that film came out, I am in no rush to go back to it. Like it's
Yeah.
and not because it's a bad film. In a very similar way to I don't need to see Schindler's List again anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched that film about 10 years ago. I'm still not ready to go back to Schindler's List. Like that's an exhausting film because it is so kind of cruel, and well, the film itself isn't cruel. Like Spielberg wasn't cruel making it, but like it's obviously exhibiting these horrible atrocities and like just these relentless, like cruel people and stuff like that. And yeah, and it's not fictional. Like I can watch
Right.
cruelty in a horror setting because it's fictional. Like I can watch Saw and that's fine, but this sort of stuff hits a little bit closer to home. So yeah, Scorsese tends to not be doing the fun stuff so more. Tends to be doing
Yeah.
a lot more kind of poignant. And the guy's what in his 80s, like almost
God, he's got to
pushing
be so
90.
old by now.
Yeah, like he's been old forever. He's been old when we were kids. Like you know,
Yeah.
what
Wolf of Wall Street was pretty fun though. That was more lighthearted for the most part. But I mean, that was probably like 10 years ago now too.
13.
Oh my god,
13 years old. That is a fun flick though. Like, yeah,
that's one I do want to watch again. That I haven't. I've only seen it once. And I'm like, man, I need to watch Wolf of Wall Street for a second time because it was so good.
Yeah, that's why I enjoyed watching. And this wasn't Scorsese, but One Battle After Another, which came out last year, just won Best Picture. Because it felt like the first time in about 10 years that Leonardo DiCaprio was fun to watch. Like he's been doing these very serious films for like the last decade, which is good. Like great. Like I'm glad he wants it. Like he's got like a kind of an agenda and stuff he wants to tell, and it's important he's telling these stories. But I missed. Oh, you know what? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I suppose.
I was just gonna say Leonardo DiCaprio and Tarantino are a great pairing as well.
But that's 7 years ago. Like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is 7 years ago.
What?
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Dude, you are impressing me with how much time has gone by between these movies.
That's 2019. Like that was the last, and Tarantino hasn't made a flick since. This is the longest time we've had.
Yeah.
No, it's on par. The last time we had a gap this long was between Jackie Brown and Kill Bill. That was 97 to 2004. So we're on our.
When did Django come out?
2000. Depending on where you are in the world, in America, I think it was the end of 2012. For Australia, it was the beginning of 2013.
Okay, because it always seems like DiCaprio is just having fun with those roles in Tarantino flicks as well.
Are they the only two he's done with Tarantino? He didn't do Hateful Eight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he didn't do Hateful Eight. He didn't do Inglourious Bastards.
That's your favorite one, right? From Tarantino?
Bastards and Kill Bill are equal top for me. Like Kill Bill probably takes the edge a little bit, but Inglourious Bastards is beautiful. It's just what a wonderful movie! Like what an insane film! Like that is. Like that to me is like the height of Tarantino. Like that's the point where he could make whatever he wanted and no one cared.
Yeah.
And I guess still like he's doing that because no one's stopping him. But he hasn't made a flick in a while. Yeah, it's definitely, and it's meant to be his last one. He's like, I'm doing 10 movies and then I'm done. So
I remember that. I was just talking to some guys at work last night about how I like that he hasn't oversaturated himself with making just tons of movies because he can. He's going to make 10 and they're all going to be iconic and memorable.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, like I wouldn't mind more though. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think like as an artist, I don't know what this rule is, like that he's kind of imposing himself. Because if I look at other filmmakers, like Scorsese, for example, like Scorsese has been working since what's the 60s, 70s?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they're not all for me, but I don't think he's made a bad movie.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Spielberg, like, been working since the like early 70s. They're not all for me, but I don't think there's any bad ones in there. Apparently, the only film he's ever made that he thinks is a mistake and he did wrong was Hook. I watched that for the first time a couple years ago. I'm like, this is wonderful. What are you talking about?
I know. We watched that the one year. Yeah, we watched that the one year around Christmas time in college. It was amazing. And I'm not like a Disney whatever guy, but dude, Hook was awesome.
No. So I like, look, if he wants to do just 10 films and done, look, I certainly don't have the power to stop him. But I think it's I think it's a weird rule. I'm like, why wouldn't you just, if you like telling stories, why wouldn't you just keep telling stories unless he's sick of it? Like maybe he's like, you know what, I just want to tell these 10 stories and then I'm done. But he's doing like a spin-off
could just be out of ideas too. You know what? Told all the stories I wanted to.
Yeah, that's true as well. I don't know.
Well, I think of it too, like how many times do you see the Rolling Stones still touring and everyone's like, whoa, when are they going to retire? Blah, blah, blah. Maybe he just wants to be like, I want to make this 10 films I always wanted to make and dip. Like, cool.
Yeah, I remember hearing Mark Hamill talked about this in an interview once because he, for the longest time, for like 30 years, he voiced the Joker, which a lot of people still don't know that he was the voice of the Joker, but he's the person who's played the Joker more than anyone. And he was talking about this interview. He's like, as an actor, you always want to make a good entrance, but in the back of your mind, if you're serious about your craft, you're thinking about a good exit as well. And it's like, I can't be the Joker forever, because at a certain point, people are going to be like, "I'll give it to someone else." And so, like, he did that Arkham City game, or Arkham Origins, maybe it was one of the Arkham games, Arkham Knight. He's like, "That's my final appearance. Like, I won't do any more Joker." And then he did like a bunch more Joker, But now he's done because Kevin Conroy passed away. He's like, "I won't play the Joker without Kevin Conroy." So that was a bummer, man. That's that's been a few years now.
That Batman TV show, growing up as a kid, the cartoon.
Yeah,
like what a phenomenal show. Like the artwork, the stories, and like very dark for an after school cartoon.
Life changing and like genre changing, like, and taken so seriously, but also a kid's cartoon.
Yeah,
like it kind of works on multiple levels. I started showing my daughter some because my daughter's obsessed with. Or at the moment she's not, but because when you have a kid, like they get obsessed with one thing for a couple of weeks and then it changes very quickly.
gotcha. Sounds like my dad.
Very big on Poison Ivy. She loves the idea of Poison Ivy. She's a cool character. I'm like, oh man, she's so cool. And she's like, can I like read the comic books that you have? Because I was like, no, because they're definitely more mature, and she's only walking around in like lingerie. So no, you're fine. She's like, what's lingerie? I'm like, go ask your mum. So she's very into Poison Ivy. So I've shown a couple episodes of the original Batman series, and she's like, she digs it. Like 30 years on, she's like, oh, this is cool. Like I like this. So it still kind of holds up to the test of time. But interestingly, they didn't keep doing that. Like now with animation, the kids stuff is very much for kids, and the adult stuff is very much for adults. And there's not really any middle ground. Like there's no kind of, they don't really do it anymore. I think like the last show that maybe did it was the Teen Titans show, which I think got cancelled like 10 years ago or something like that, or 15 years ago. It hasn't been around for a while. Or maybe Young Justice, although I think that does kind of lean a bit more mature as well. I think that's an M rating here, which would be like a PG-13 in America. So,
well, I think shows like Batman and that darker edge to cartoons and animation kind of paved the way for the big anime boom that happened in the late 90s and early 2000s with shows like, I don't know if you had it over there, but we had Toonami, where they would show like not kid shows but not adult shows, somewhere in between, for like that 10 to 14 year range. And it was like, they would show the Batman cartoon, Dragon Ball Z, stuff like that. And man, Batman was on that level way before that stuff was popular, when stuff was still like, kiddie stuff.
Man, it's so great. I've got the box set on here, around here somewhere. I'm just literally waiting for the kid to show enough interest in the universe in general, not just in like the Poison Ivy episode. So I can be like, right, let's do it. Heart of Ice. Let's do it. Let's go cry at Mr. Freeze, because this is gonna break your heart. I've tried a couple. There's another one. There's a really cool one in the later one. It was like the new Batman and Robin adventure. Then it's called Girls' Night Out, and like Supergirl and Batgirl like get attacked by all like the female villains. It's like Harley and Livewire and stuff. That's a pretty fun episode. So I've shown that one as well. But yeah, I just realized I rolled off screen. I'll come back.
I was kind of like shifting so I could still see you.
Because usually the camera's like full screen. So
I was like, oh man, does he need to be somewhere? Do I need to hang up here?
No, I was getting excited about Batman. I'm like, I know he's over there somewhere. That's the hardest thing about having a kid for me, is having to wait for her to get old enough to show her all the cool stuff. I'm like, man, like, because she wants to watch, like, I've shown her the clip from Batman and Robin, which is a film that I defend. Batman and Robin, like, is never going to be held in the same degree as The Dark Knight, but still a wonderful, like, for kids, what a fun Batman movie. So I've shown her the clip where, like, Poison Ivy shows up at the auction, where they're auctioning off women for charity, in a kid's film.
Oh, that's right.
And, like, she's, like, dressed as a gorilla, and then she, like, takes off the costume, and she's, like, blowing her pheromones around. So I've shown her that scene, because even though it's obviously quite mature, like, it goes over her head, she just likes the music and stuff. But she's like, can we watch the whole movie? I'm like, man, like, Bane is going to be way too scary for you. Like, and
he is like, a freaky looking dude in that.
And, like, Poison Ivy is created by, like, an older man pushing her into, like, poisonous chemicals and snakes and stuff. Like, that's
very true.
A bit intense for 5. But once she's old
I remember,
enough,
I remember being a kid and seeing Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. Is that right? And Batman
Yeah.
Returns getting pushed off the building by Max Schreck.
Yeah.
That was, and then the cats start eating her. Yeah, that was that whole movie was just kind of creepy for a kid.
It's of the four my favorite of those four movies. Like I think
Oh,
it's the
okay.
one I like the best. Yeah. I like all of them for different reasons and in different kind of degrees and stuff like that. But the second one, even though there is magic cat powers and the Penguin is gross for no reason other than
Oh,
Tim Burton
spitting the
wanted to be
black
weird.
stuff out of his mouth.
Yeah, but like also like just like a sexual predator. Like he's like groping women left and right.
That's right. And he's always walking around in that onesie underwear.
Yeah, and like he bites some guy's nose off and stuff. Like it's all like Tim Burton was like he must be a penguin man. I was like, no, like that's not what this is.
Doesn't
Uh,
actually have to
it,
be half penguin.
even with the weird stuff in it, I think it's like it's the best of the four. And like that scene where like they're dancing in the ballroom as like Bruce and Selena, and like they figure out each other's secret identity and stuff. Like
Mhm.
just very cool, like very comic booky stuff. Like
Oh
I
yeah,
really
and
dig that one. So,
I love how it has that Christmas atmosphere and like the
mm,
creepy Christmas music with like chanting and bells and stuff. Like
mm.
underrated Christmas film.
Yeah, there's one moment like I don't know why they left in the film. It's such a trailer moment. Like there's a moment where Batman sees Penguin for the first time, and Penguin's like, "You don't possibly think you can win," which in the trailer you're like, "Oh my god, what's the plan?" First time they've met in the movie. Batman's like, "What are you talking about? Can't win what?" Like it doesn't make any sense in the context of the film. But yeah, it's a weird flick. Oh yeah, and Alfred like is DJing the bat car at some point.
Oh,
Like
that's right.
he's like using like records. I don't know. It's so strange. Uh, that guy who would have gone down in history as the best actor to play Alfred ever, until Nolan was like, "How about Michael Caine?" Like,
Right. You're not going to top Michael Caine.
imagine having the legacy of like I played Alfred more than anyone. No one's going to come close. I'm endearing. I'm on my, I'm on my deathbed. Who? Michael Caine, son of a bitch. Like,
I was so close.
and now, what's his name? Gollum. Andy Serkis is Alfred.
Mhm.
So there you go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the Robert Pattinson one. Did you watch that one?
Okay. I haven't seen it yet. I've heard it's great.
Ah, man, it's good. Yeah, it's long, 3 hours. Like, it's a long flick, but it's very like, feels a lot like Seven, feels a bit like Zodiac, like that sort of thing. It's
Okay.
there's way less kind of fantastical elements in it. Like it's not
Mhm.
until the end, the third act, they can't make a Batman film without like doing a big CGI something, even though it's Batman. It's like it doesn't need to be a big fight. I won't spoil it for you because you haven't seen it, but yeah, it's very much a detective story. Like they do the journaling, so you get to hear his voiceover throughout the film and stuff like that. It's very noir-esque, and the Batmobile rocks. Like I'm not a car
Nice.
guy, but just like seeing him drive like a muscle car with like a supercharged like exhaust and stuff is kind of fun. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think I would like that because that's always one thing I said about The Dark Knight is that if you took Batman out and just put a hard-boiled detective in there, it'd still work.
yeah.
Like there's nothing over the top superpower craziness. Like just a rich guy in a Batmobile chasing down the Joker.
Yeah, the Pattinson one's definitely worth it. I think they start shooting that sequel finally. That flick came out in 2022.
It's been
I
a
want to
while,
say.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's due for release next year, I think.
Okay.
So 5 years between Batman films. It's almost as long as the gap between Tarantino films. I don't know what we're talking about, man. When we talk about The Departed, like 20 minutes ago, we were talking about The Departed.
We kind of got on a Batman kick, which, good call. That's like the one superhero I'm actually knowledgeable about somewhat.
Well, we were talking about it the other day because you're not a big superhero. I think I messaged you out of the blue. I was like, I'm like, have you ever seen Thor? I'm like, I know you don't like Marvel films, but I feel like Thor would be up your alley just because you like the Norse stuff. And even though it's very like fantastical and stuff like that, I think there are elements of it you would dig. But it is, kind of very much like a PG kind of like romp still. It's a lot of humor and stuff. But hopefully the next one they do, they'll go more like God of War level. Like
Oh,
that
that
sort
would
of
be
thing.
cool.
That's what I want. Like, we need, like, Thor's been in too many rom-coms. We need to get serious again. We need to go dark.
I feel
But
like
the
I've
one,
seen all the superhero movies with your what is it, Road to Avengers Endgame or
yeah,
something. You're on like part
yeah.
27, I think.
Part 27 online, I just watched the 61st one last night. Um, I was saying to
Oh my
someone,
god.
I think I said it on one of the videos actually. I was like, guys, just so you know, like I love doing this, but even I'm getting a bit marveled out. I'm just
Well, yeah, after 60
like
movies of anything, I'd be good to go.
they I'm at the point where they started introducing the TV shows, and on their own the TV shows are wonderful, but when you're trying to binge watch, it's like I've gone from, you know, one movie a day to now watching like 6 episodes over 3 days. Like, oh, it's just slowing me down. Um, but the one show we talked about that I said I think you would like is Daredevil, because Daredevil is very
Hmm.
grounded as well. Like, it's kind of like people always say that Moon Knight is like Marvel's Batman, but I think Daredevil's closer. Daredevil, like,
Okay.
he's not wealthy, like he's not a billionaire, but he's just like a guy in a suit just punching people.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
give it a
he's
shot.
like, yeah, it's you want to start with the Netflix series, but I think it's on Disney Plus now, like the original first three series, because they just relaunched it last year. But yeah, he's like a blind lawyer by day, and then by night he dresses up, and he beats on he beats on like criminals and stuff.
Well, that
Um,
almost sounds like it almost sounds like a take on the old, what is it? I guess you would call it like an archetype, the blind samurai,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
like in
Plays
Japanese folklore.
Zatoichi or
I don't know the specific name, but I just know
Mm,
in a lot of samurai movies and legends and stuff, there's always like the blind swordsman who's a master at it. And you got to
yeah.
figure out a different way to come at him, because if you just come straight at him, he'll hear you come in and he'll be able to block everything because he can hear you and like feel where you're at so well because he can't see.
Yeah, the closest they get to like superpowers in it is he has heightened senses. So like, because he's blind, like he has almost kind of like like it's almost like sonar. So like,
Hmm.
if like he uses noise to like navigate and stuff like that, and things like that. But yeah, like the first season is just like a crime. It's like he's just trying to find out this kind of mystery crime boss. And it's brutal, man. Like some of the fights, like there's a sequence. I will spoil it because it's over 10 years. It's over 10 years old now. This show, where a villain decapitates a dude with the car door, just slams his car door so many times
Damn.
that the guy's head falls off. Uh, so yeah, that's your incentive to watch it. And then season
Yeah.
two, like you got the Punisher in there, like so another kind of grounded
Okay.
hero, and some ninjas and stuff like that. And then the third one, they bring in Bullseye, who's just like the world's greatest marksman. Like anything is a weapon in his
Okay.
hands. But it's not like Colin Farrell, who's like all kind of goofy in that 2003 movie. It's very like
Mhm.
serious, and like he
Okay.
dresses up as Daredevil in season 3 to like frame him, so like Daredevil's gone insane, but it's just this other insane criminal killing people. Yeah, yeah, it's cool, man. He's my
It sounds
favorite
pretty
Marvel
good,
hero.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
that
know
you would dig, I
a
would think. Yeah.
yeah, I'll definitely put that on the radar. You know, a good one I watched the other night was the
Mm.
original Assault on Precinct 13. You ever see that
I
one?
saw you watch that one. I've only seen the remake, which is that's over
Yeah.
20 years old.
Oh, I remember seeing the
With
remake.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters with my dad. Like my dad took me and his girlfriend's kids, who were definitely too young to see it, like because it's brutal.
It
Um,
is.
but I haven't watched it since then. But I've never seen the original one. I am pathetically behind on John Carpenter films. I've seen like the major
Mhm.
ones, like The Thing, The Fog, They Live.
Escape from
Probably a
New
couple.
York.
Escape from New York. Yeah.
Snake
Um,
Plissken. That guy's awesome. But
did you see
dude,
the interview? There was an interview with Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell recently because they're in a film together, or they're in something together, and they were like, "Would you think about playing Snake to Wyatt Russell, Kurt Russell's son?" And he's like, "People keep asking me that, but I'm older now than my dad was. Like when he played Snake Plissken, like my dad was in his 20s. I'm almost 40. Like, it's really
oh
funny.
man.
You're gonna say sorry about Assault on Precinct 13?
Oh, yeah, I mean the one from the 70s, it just made me remember how bleak 70s films are. Like
Yeah,
brutal, violent, like there's not really any happy endings. It's just grit the whole way
yeah.
through.
Like Dirty Harry. Like if you've ever seen the Dirty Harry films,
Oh
like
yeah.
they're like, yeah. I've got that box set
What's
somewhere as well.
what's the other one like Dirty Harry?
The
Death
Sudden
Wish.
Impact.
Remember those ones?
Death Wish. Yeah,
Those are crazy.
I've seen the first one. They remade Death Wish, with
Oh,
Bruce
did they?
Willis. Yeah, Bruce
What?
Willis was the. Yeah, this is back in 2017, 2018.
Damn. Okay.
Eli Roth directed it.
All right. I like
Yeah.
Eli Roth.
I don't remember it that much. I did an Eli Roth episode while we were on hiatus where I just kind of ranked his films, and I put Death Wish last. I was like, I don't think it's a bad film. I just don't remember anything about it, so I can't rank it higher. Yeah, it was alright. Like Eli Roth makes it pretty. Like it's pretty violent. Like there's a sequence where Bruce Willis, like someone's like a mechanic's under a car, and Bruce Willis kicks the jack out, and it crushes the dude's head, and his brain flies out. You know.
Did you ever see any of the Death Wish sequels once they started getting into like 3, 4, 5?
No, but I know they're produced by Canon. So Canon Films were like these two Israeli filmmakers who moved to America, and like we're going to be as big as the other studios, and they would buy up the rights to the sequels of films that kind of lapse. So they're responsible for Superman 3 and Superman 4.
Okay.
They did the Death Wish sequels. They did American Ninja, I think. There's like a whole like slew of like. I think they
I
did
just watched
Delta
American Ninja not too long ago.
I think they did Delta Force and Missing in Action, the Chuck Norris flicks. Like,
Nice.
they did a bunch. Yeah, there's a really fascinating documentary. What's it called? I've got it on my shelf somewhere as well. I'll find out what it's called and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
I'll tell you the title because it's fascinating. Like the documentary. They also made one of my favorite '80s teen comedies, Last American Virgin. They did that one. So they made some really interesting stuff, but they made some not so good stuff as well. So no, I haven't seen the Death Wish sequels, but I remember like they were talking about someone was talking about their experience working with Charles Bronson whilst he was doing the sequels, and they're like he hated them. Like the guy, he just did not like the sequels. He did not like working for those guys. But I'll find out what the documentary is called, and I'll let you know because you would dig it just watching like the weird 80s films get made through the cheapest way possible. Like, and like all the rip-offs they're trying to make, they're trying to like make something as close to a major studio film as possible. So,
all right. I know what you're talking. Like Asylum does.
Yes. They were like Asylum before Asylum, yeah.
The Death Wish sequels, man, it like, you know how the first one's this grounded crime kind of action thriller? At like the sequels, he's basically Rambo, but in the streets.
Yeah.
There are rocket launchers at points. I'm like, what am I watching?
Yeah, that's I think the only reason I haven't watched them is they're not readily available over here. Like again, like going back to talking about physical copies before. Like when I was a kid, all of them were on VHS in the video store. Like they were all there. But now, like they just don't get released. Like there's nothing. They're not on streaming anywhere. I'd be hard pressed. I don't think I can even get the original Death Wish in Australia right now. Like, isn't that insane?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
Death Wish is not available. Like, that's crazy to me.
I saw them all on the movie channels back in the day.
Yeah,
because before streaming, my dad always had like HBO and Showtime and that stuff. So they late at night they would always show just like the most random stuff. So I would catch like Death Wish 3, Death Wish 4, all kinds of. There used to be like so many just weird 1980s obscure horror films on there. One was about like this killer TV, I think it was. It's horrible. But like there was so much wild stuff on there. You never knew what you were gonna get each night.
I love that stuff though, man. Like, give me the weird and the wacky and all that. Like, that's why I fell in love with the Toxic Avenger. Like, I remember seeing that video case on the shelves for years. And when I was finally able to like get a copy home and watch it, I was like, this is just the most amazing film I've seen in my life. Like, it is like even now, like Toxic Avenger and RoboCop, maybe the two best films made in the 80s, in my opinion. Like,
RoboCop's a good one.
RoboCop's really good. I was just on another podcast earlier this year. We were talking about the films of 1987, and RoboCop got a lot of love, like from all of us. But it's like I think the title is so dumb, people don't realize it could possibly be as good as it is, but it's so like relevant to today. Like, who would have thought RoboCop would be relevant in 2026?
Right. Did you ever see this is a film I throw out just like No genre, just like a purely good movie, $1 Million Baby.
I haven't seen Million. That was directed by Clint Eastwood.
Oh
That's the Hilary
man.
Swank one, yeah. I
Hmm.
I haven't watched it, and not for any other reason. I just never got around to it. Like it came out at a time when I was probably not looking outside of the genre stuff I would usually watch. Like Million Dollar Baby, I
Right.
want to say it's 2004. So I'm watching a ton of horror films. I'm watching a ton of raunchy comedies.
Gotcha.
Maybe some and some superhero flicks. Definitely not like, but not action films. I wasn't like, yeah, I'm an action junkie. I was like
Mhm.
superhero films. That's about. So like, I was very kind of narrowly scoped. So like, what I've been doing over the last 10 years or so is trying to fill in as many of those blanks as possible. Like I watched Good
Okay.
Morning Vietnam for the first time last year. Like how did I go my entire
Ah,
life without watching Good Morning Vietnam? Like
I remember watching that with
uh,
my dad, Robin Williams.
yeah, I think my dad borrowed it from the video store once with the intention of us watching, and very early on he realized that maybe I was a bit too young for it. So he was like, "Ah,
Yeah.
we'll watch it later," and then we never did. Um, so yeah, like I didn't watch the Terminator flicks until I was in my late 20s. Like it's just I just missed
Really?
so many. Yeah,
Oh
yeah. We grew
man,
up.
that's a
Grew
crime.
up.
Why did my
Yeah,
voice
I grew up in
crack
a
like this?
house. I grew up in a house where there was like, no violent movies allowed. So
That's
anything Arnold
right. Yeah.
Schwarzenegger, unless it was Jingle All the Way, or Batman and
Great
Robin.
movie in
Like
its own right. I love
we
watching that around Christmas.
we showed the kid Jingle All the Way over Christmas time because like, look, obviously we're going to watch Home Alone. Like we got to watch Home
Mhm.
Alone, but we need to like branch out. We need to watch some more Christmas movies. And I was like, let's watch Jingle All the Way. Like it's not good, but it's also brilliant. So we need to watch Jingle All the Way, and it holds up so well. Like it is.
I know.
I'm sure my parents hated it, but like being a product of that time, it's just like, yes, that is. There's a flick that came out a few years ago that I would say spiritually is a lot like Jingle All the Way, except instead of it being the parents tracking down a present, it's the kids, and it was called 8-Bit Christmas. I don't know if you've seen this one.
Oh no, I haven't heard of that.
Um, so it's about a bunch of kids in the late 80s, and they're all trying to get Super Nintendos for Christmas because when the Super Nintendo came out.
Hmm.
Um, and like kind of their adventure to get it. And I think it's narrated by Neil Patrick Harris. Like he does the voiceover of the, it's kind of like told in the, um, not as like wacky as like, it's certainly not wacky like Jingle All the Way, but the whole idea of like, this is the must-have present for Christmas. We need to track
Yeah.
it down. And like wrapped up in a very kind of sweet and gooey package. Like it's a really fun and lovely movie. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Jingle All the Way is great at capturing that like mid '90s thing where you would look in the toy or not the toy catalog, but like
mhm,
J.C. Penney catalog or whatever,
yeah.
and you would see the toys you wanted and just the whole vibe of going shopping during Christmas at that time period. Like, you remember the Furby craze? Those were
Yeah,
selling
I
out.
remember I remember when the Furbies came out, there was Toys R Us was still around because we had Toys R Us
Mhm.
as well. And Toys R Us, for whatever reason, was in the basement of the shopping mall that we would go to, like the big one, like the biggest shopping mall
Mhm.
in the state. Um, and by comparison, these days it's nothing. It's tiny. Like it's big, but like there's bigger ones out there. And for whatever reason, it was on the bottom floor. Like there was a parking lot, and then there was an escalator down below the parking lot, and that's where Toys R Us was. And I
What?
remember,
What kind of
yeah, it
toy
was really
store was
strange.
this?
Yeah, it was. It was. Look, it was a meth lab. Um, and I remember like just the insanity of everyone like trying to get Furbies and stuff. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Um, my kid does the catalog thing now. Like
Mm.
so she gets like a book catalog every month at school, and she'll take it home and she'll circle all the books she wants. And we don't really do the toy catalog thing for Christmas, but what she will do is whenever she sees something and she wants it, I'm like, well, let's take a photo and goes on the Christmas list. And then by the end of the year, we have like a whole photo album full of things that she wants, and then we kind of can figure out what it is. So it's kind of like the digital modern version of the catalog thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Um,
cool. I can't wait until she brings home a book catalog with books for the broken circled.
yeah. Did you put it through the Scholastic Book Club so we can
I need to do that, don't I?
yeah, then all the schools can get access to it. I feel like let's read a little thing called Roadkill Blues. Uh,
And then his brain splattered across the desert highway.
what's your opinion on on exploding heads? Like, if it's just one, I think we can give it a PG-13. Like, no,
Right, it's like F words.
yeah. Oh man, I can't wait till she's ready to start watching exploding head movies.
Oh, so many good ones.
Oh,
The Departed, like
like,
we were talking about.
it's just so
That's- uh, 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 uh,
many.
That's one of the strengths with that movie is it's very dialogue heavy and it relies a lot on suspense. But man, when the violence hits, it hits hard and graphic.
That sequence when Leo meets Matt Damon on the roof, which is just
Mhm.
like, that's the downward spiral of the film. You're like, oh, there's no escape here. And just like, I completely forgot the carnage that Matt Damon's character leaves, because even the guy who helps him is like, hey, we're in this together, right? And he's like, yeah, turn. Poof. It's like,
Boom.
oh my God. And then just the absolute joy you take in seeing Mark Wahlberg waiting for him. You're like, yes, this is justice. Like, yeah, as much as I think this is, as I said, this is the most likable Jack Nicholson is in a film, which feels weird to say, but I just really like him in it. Like, he's just like so conniving, but like, I don't know, like he's got like a code as well. Like, there's something about him. I don't know why he shouldn't be likable. As likable as he is and Leo is in this film, and definitely Vera Farmiga is, this might be the most unlikable Matt Damon's ever been. Like, he just, every
Oh
scene, I'm just like,
yeah,
you want to punch him in the face, which I think is tough to do because he had such a clean cut, like, good boy look for everything
I
he's
know.
done. Like, even like in Dogma, when like, and obviously that's a comedy, but he plays the villain in that. Like, you still like him and feel sorry for him. In this, it's just
You hate his guts. You want to
like when
see
he
him get
starts
blown away.
deleting Leo out of the
Oh,
system, you're
I
like, no,
know.
oh, I hate you. And like, I was talking about Fatal Attraction recently on that podcast as well, and I was saying like how I think it's really, I think it's a well-made film, but I don't dig on the plot at all. I don't think that you can sympathize with a guy whose incentive to cheat is a woman looks at him. So like that's like his
Smiled at me.
incentive. Yeah. Um, but and I never like often like you when you see that sort of stuff happening in film and TV, you tend to not side with the people who are kind of indulging in infidelity. The minute like she cheated on him with Leo, I was like, good. He
Yeah,
doesn't deserve her. Like,
this is what he gets.
I was like, good. Like, you don't deserve her. Like,
Whenever I start one of my little videos I do for Instagram, I always go, okay, like real obnoxiously.
yeah,
And if you notice, that's what Matt Damon says in Departed right before he gets blown away. He has the groceries and he's walking in, the dog doesn't even
yeah,
like him. And he
yeah,
walks in and sees Mark Wahlberg and just, okay, bam.
yeah.
Oh man, and
uh,
there's just so, like you were saying, it's such a layered movie. Every time I watch it, I find something new to it. Like like at the beginning, did we talk about this or was this my brother? It seems like Matt Damon and Leo are going through the police academy at the same time, but really it's like a 10-year difference or a 5-year difference.
yeah,
Crazy. I always
absolutely.
thought they were like back to back until recently. And
Yeah,
then just the theme throughout of Matt Damon's aspirations to become governor, and he gets the place in front of the state house, and at the end you see the rat in front of it, like just little
yes.
subtle stuff.
Oh man, the rat's so good. And
Yeah.
we haven't even talked about the music, but the Dropkick Murphys
Oh,
track of "Shipping Up to Boston,"
huge.
like even if it was a terrible film, which it's so the opposite of that. Like, if it did anything right, it introduced the world to the Dropkick Murphys with that
Yeah.
song. Um,
Scorsese always nails it with the music.
yeah,
Like,
he is a master of like kind of threading popular music into his films. Like the use of
mhm,
Layla in Goodfellas, obviously probably the biggest one. But
yeah.
then even like just the entire soundtrack of Wolf of Wall Street is just
Mm.
that's
I
a
was
really
thinking
fun soundtrack. Yeah.
Gimme Shelter. He's used that in Goodfellas and The Departed by the Rolling Stones.
Yes. What else was I going to say? There's something else in Departed around Matt Damon. I can't remember now. It's fine.
I will say
It's a very long
I know you
film.
got to get
Yeah,
going. Yeah.
that's okay.
I will leave you with one Departed story. So, I
Yeah,
was
do it.
I was flying back from Vegas. Of course I would be in Vegas. And I end up sitting next to this dude from Boston, and his wife is like nearby. Like she may have been right next to him, or she was across from me. But anyway, he's like, "I'm from Boston." I'm like, "Oh man, you ever see The Departed?" And of course, this guy's from Boston. He's like, "The Departed, fucking love The Departed." And we spent the however long it was, like 7-hour flight from Vegas to Philly, just quoting The Departed nonstop.
Nice.
Like, how's your mother? Good. Tired from fucking my father. How's your wife? Good. Tired from fucking me. And his wife looked like she wanted to be anywhere else than on that plane. I think if she had a choice, she would have just said, "Take the plane down."
Oh man, we haven't even scratched the surface. We got so distracted talking about other movies. We're like, we talk about The Departed, and then we just went on a whole time, which is the best, by the way, the best
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
like, and that's why Kevin hates having me on the podcast, because any chance I get to talk about anything other than the thing we're meant to talk about.
You're a massive
but
distraction.
I was just thinking as well about that scene where they're getting ready to do the sting, and they've got the cell phone blocked or whatever, so he has
Yes.
to like text in his pocket, which kids these days, like, we've been in the iPhone generation for almost 20 years. Like, if you didn't have a cell phone like that, a mobile phone like that, you don't know what he's doing. Like, I did that. Like, this is like, I'm going to admit to a petty crime here. When I first got my license, that's when they just rolled out the no cell phones while driving rule.
Okay.
But we had buttons, so I could text. I could put my phone in my pocket and text while driving, like, or like, we know you didn't have like a mount, on your phone. And I'm not condoning that, by the way. Like, I was wrong. Like, it's very dangerous. Now that I've got kids, I would never do it. When I was 18, I was an idiot. But with a button phone, you can totally do that. With a touchscreen, you got no hope.
Talking about just like the cell phones, it really uses the time period it was shot in like wisely. Cell phones were just becoming this thing. It was a new technology. Whenever they're tracking them for the sting, they're talking about the Patriot Act, which was still pretty new around that point, where the government could basically surveil
Bolden's
everyone.
got a great joke, got a great line about that as well. He's like, love it. He's like, the Patriot
Act, baby, Patriot Act.
Yeah.
So it really uses the atmosphere of that time and really adds to the movie that way, I think, because, where else are you going to be able to type the button number phones in, only in like the mid 2000s.
You brought up something just then that I hadn't thought about, because you just mentioned the Patriot Act. Like, that, this is a post 9/11 film. For those who weren't around at the time, the Patriot Act is introduced as a response to 9/11. Like, the Patriot Act pretty much gave the government to investigate whoever they wanted for whatever reason, to try, in an effort to like reduce terrorism. Which, looking back now, maybe there was more going on than just that. Like, maybe just the American government wanted to just keep tabs on people. I've watched in the last few years a lot of post 9/11 films, and one thing that became really clear, like, and I noticed this particularly with Die Hard. Like, I watched all the Die Hard films last year, and like the first three are like action packed and fun, and like it's John McClane's this hero, and yeah, he's kind of reckless, but like he's a good guy. And then I watched Live Free or Die Hard, which is a film that I really love. Holy Christ, is it a dark film? Like, John McClane's not a fun guy in that movie, and he is like throwing out borderline racial slurs, and he's plugging anyone who's not white just for the sake of like killing them. And it's a real like, and if you look at the films that kind of came out post 9/11, there is this real tonal shift. The Departed doesn't have it.
Oh, you don't think so?
Not in the same way. Like, yes, there's definitely like, no more so than Scorsese was doing previously. It kind of feels like Scorsese, like, if he had any personal politics, for me at least, and it's been a minute since I watched Goodfellas, so I'll have to find an excuse to watch Goodfellas. Oh no,
I can give you a couple.
Yeah, it feels like whatever personal politics he may have had, it feels like it didn't really shift the tone of his filmmaking. Like, a lot of storytellers really lent into it, and whilst it is obviously, they are using the Patriot Act and they are doing that, it doesn't feel out of place. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like there's a shift in attitude from the storyteller. Whereas, like with Die Hard, it's glaringly obvious. Like,
I gotcha.
We go, yeah,
because Scorsese always told dark stories. Like, these are not stories about happy-go-lucky people.
No, but they're always told with a little bit of tongue-in-cheek and a little bit of sense of humor. And Departed doesn't lose
definitely
that.
has that. Yeah,
it doesn't lose it. Yeah,
that.
like, and like that's why I said, like, I put it like on the same level as Goodfellas, if not a little bit above. Like, if you told me he made those films back to back, like I'd be like, yeah, I believe you. Like same guys, couple of years, yeah, like that sounds right.
Yeah.
The fact that he made those films 15, 16 years apart and they feel very cohesively part of his collection. Like if you put that up against like Killers of the Flower Moon, I'm like, well, this is obviously a very like a guy in a very different time in his life. But or the
I
Irishman.
gotcha.
But these, yeah. So yeah, like, it's not that it's not influenced by 9/11. Of course it is, and like kind of that post 9/11 kind of paranoia and like the way the government changed. Of course it's there, but it doesn't feel tonally like it doesn't feel bleak, I should say, despite everyone dying. Like it doesn't feel bleak. It feels like
There's
it's
a
a
lot of
weird
humor
kind
to
of thing
everyone getting blown away.
Yeah, it's just a typical
Well,
Scorsese film.
I always use this as an example to like show the post 9/11 filmmaking or how it affected movies is look at the Batmans from like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And then look at the Dark Knight. Like the Dark Knight, the Joker is basically a terrorist. Batman's using surveillance to find everyone. Like the city's being shut down, people are being evacuated. Like very much more dark and grounded realism after the terrorist attacks, and you can see it how dark Dark Knight was.
Yeah. Did you ever read the theory on the Joker's origin from Dark Knight? I know we're wrapping up, but like that you've brought it up.
Which one? That he was a war veteran?
Yeah, like he's a war veteran with PTSD, and that explains why he can be so methodical, but why he's also very like nihilistic and like has nothing to live for. Like, and there's not a lot of evidence to kind of support that. Like, there's nothing kind of said in it. It's just more like if you look at the way he kind of operates and stuff like that, you can kind of extrapolate from that. But yeah, I do. There's definitely you can definitely see the post 9/11 in there. It's just became a very different time. Like it's so crazy, and maybe not. Like maybe it's not crazy, but it's just crazy is not the right word. But like to see how much influence a single event not only shaped like the world, because it did. Like it wasn't just America that was shaped. Like we were all like every country was shaped by it. But also like how much it influenced the art at that time and how much it changed. Batman. But like maybe like, and without being disrespectful to, obviously that's it was a huge tragedy kind of in the history books and stuff like that. The art did get a lot better. Like it's like I mean, like it's and not better. And I'm not like being like, oh my god, I'm so glad that happened. But like it kind of, I think, fine tuned everyone's antennas into what's relevant and like how to tell important stories as opposed to just like all the stories stopped being commercials for toys and they started being a lot more focused on kind of real human tragedy and stuff like that, which is the purpose of art, is to kind of like heal and kind of help us get in touch with maybe those topics that we do struggle to process. So
for sure,
it is. That being said, I do miss pre 9/11 Die Hard. That was a lot more fun.
Everything was a lot more fun before that.
Mr. Jacob Honeybrook, Roy, it has been an absolute pleasure having you back, man. I was so excited when you reached out about coming on, because I was like, man, it's been a minute. Even though you've been on the show so many times in the last couple of years, I was like, man, I just feel like you need to come on the show like at least a few times a year. Like, it just feels like it's some sort of ceremony. We need to have you on. Your book is out on the 30th of March, according to Amazon. That's what it's telling me, 30th of March. And only on Amazon? That's the only place they can buy it?
Yeah, I'm just a one-stop shop right now. After I got everything in order for Amazon, I was like, I'm not doing this again for somewhere else. So it's on Amazon.
So everyone head to Amazon. If you want it on your Kindle or you just want the digital copy, you can go ahead and pre-order it right now. If you want the physical copy, you have to wait until it's released. And how much? Do you know how much it is going to be on release day? How much they're looking at paying?
For the physical copy?
Yeah.
$15.99 US.
Oh, that's not bad. $15.99. That's a bargain. That's a steal. All those stories, 319 pages. I saw. What a bargain! 200. I've read a couple of them. I got a few more. 219. Okay, I wrote my dyslexia.
Let's not oversell
up.
this.
That's okay. 219 pages. Even still, I've read a couple of them. I've got to read the rest. I got that advanced reader's copy, but they just read so quickly and they're so brilliantly written. So go pick that up, support him. And where can they find you online? Do all your plugs. You have a spiel you like to do, so I'll let you do your thing.
Oh, yes. You can follow me on social media. My handle is at author_Honeybrook. That is on Instagram and TikTok. You can find all of my books on Amazon. Just search my name, R. Jacob Honeybrook, and check out my weekly column that I write on TBM Horror. It is called The Honeycut.
Very cool.
Midnight Terrors podcast, available anywhere you stream your podcast. I just got off, and Kevin always handles the MTP plugs, so I always forget to.
Do you know what's funny is I'm like, he mentioned it. He mentioned Midnight Terrors. It's fine. And then you're like, no, I didn't. I'm like, wow, we both forgot about Midnight Terrors.
Sorry, Kevin.
Very cool. Go and check out all of it. Go check out Midnight Terrors. It's a fun show. I've done a bunch of them. I've done a few episodes now. I've done did a couple before you took over as co-host, and I've done. Have I done a couple with you as a co-host? We did Exorcist.
I think you've done at least two.
And we did
one before that.
Was Young Frankenstein with you? No, that was with the previous co-host.
No, you may have only done one with. We need to get you on, dude. I'm sure you have the same thing. Not to get sidetracked, but like podcasting time seems to go like quadruple the speed because we'll be like, let's get this guy on. It feels like we haven't had.
Yeah. I thought maybe because you were on my show so many times last year, it's kind of blurred. I thought I did two with you though. I thought I did two. We definitely did Exorcist 3, and yeah, not a problem at all. Well, I'll come on the show very soon, and I'll have to get both of you on the show soon. Anyway. Thanks to Roy. Go support him. I just got an alert saying it stopped recording your side of things, so Roy might have disappeared from the show. That's okay, due to low storage on his computer. That's totally fine. Thank you for listening. Welcome back. I hope you've dug the show. We've got some great guests coming up. We've got an actress coming up in a few weeks' time. That's all looking good. And, of course, the regular show with Maddie and Nick back on. We're going to do our favorite top 2025, so it's going to be very exciting. That's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for listening, and we will talk to you next week. How do I stop recording? I'll leave that in so they can hear me say